Okay, here we go.
Here we are!
Ladies
Hooray!
and gentlemen.
Hooray! We are in the aftermath. We're in the aftermath.
It's a glorious time
It's a glorious
to be a Game
time.
of Thrones fan.
And I mean, if you're from Cleveland and you're a Game of Thrones fan, this is a great morning.
What a night, yeah.
Well, you know, great night, great morning to wake up to and just like really
Yeah,
celebrate.
good point. Congratulations to those folks.
Congratulations. It was quite a night.
Kevin Love. You know Kevin Love?
Yeah.
He's a huge Game of Thrones fan.
Oh, really?
So
Oh.
he got to cap off a great night with. And he's probably like,
I bet
oh,
he
man.
went. I bet he went home right away and be like, "I'll celebrate later."
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't want to get spoiled, you know.
Yeah.
So congrats to Kevin Love in the city of Cleveland.
That was great.
I was ready to go to sleep after the basketball.
Yeah, I was already like, "Wow!" from the basketball.
That was
It
a lot
so
of
great.
Woo, yeah.
And then after be like, "All right, now we're gonna watch Battle of the Bastards."
Yeah.
And then we went into
I had to get myself psyched up.
what
for
is
it.
possibly, arguably, debatedly the greatest episode
ever.
of Game of Thrones.
And that's gonna be our main.
That's gonna be our main
point.
topic today. Was this the greatest episode ever?
Yeah.
We had the Daenerys storyline and the Jon Snow and Winterfell storyline. Those two.
And fear not, it's gonna be more nuanced than like, yay, we're happy. I mean, we're gonna look at this thing from a few angles, as far as whether it's the best.
As we always do.
As we do.
That's what you expect when you come to Thrones Talk. You
That's
want
right.
you want a multi-angled look into this.
And yeah.
You can go to other shows if you don't want to just want to be less analytical, but you can't be Thrones Talk.
And so, first of all, before we get into the meat and potatoes of all this, is that an expression?
Yeah,
I like that as an
Meat and
expression.
potatoes. Yeah, that's meat and potatoes.
Cheers.
We're gonna cheers to victory.
To victory, to
victory.
drinking,
To victory.
to the Winterfell, to the north.
And we should mention, just in case, because we're, as you know, if you're a weekly listener, we hope that you are. If you're a first-time listener, please come back. We like to mention the different beers we're drinking in case they want to sponsor us, and we'll be exclusive drinkers of theirs if we get some free beer. Or
and this
or
week
something.
we're aiming high.
We're aiming high.
This is a big one for Game of Thrones fans. We are drinking the official Game of Thrones beer.
From Amagang.
The Omegang Seven Kingdoms Hoppy Wheat Ale.
Yeah.
Tasty, summer beverage for those of us in warm weather, as probably most of us are here.
Yeah, and
in the northern
Amagang
hemisphere.
Brewery does have a wonderful line of Game of Thrones themed beers, and they're very tasty. They're not just a sticker on there. They're very good beers.
They don't mess around. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very good.
This is my first of this season.
Yeah.
But last season I had some fun ones as well.
The Three-Eyed Raven Ale is really good. The Take the
Yeah.
Black Stout, delicious.
Yeah.
The Valar Morghulis, is that a saison?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, saison. See,
Saison.
saison.
S'il vous plaît.
Wonderful. So yes, Amagang, if you'd like to sponsor us, that'd be great.
That's right.
All right, so let's get into this.
And wait, actually, one more thing.
Oh,
The Twitter
one more
poll.
thing.
The
Sorry,
Twitter,
I'm
our
rushing.
Twitter moment of the
yes.
week.
Oh, Twitter moment of the week. Yes, naturally.
So we got a few votes on this week.
Yeah, we've got some action.
We got some
Some
action.
Twitter action. Some twit action.
The man voted to die this week was Tormund.
Yes.
And so you're
Yes.
wrong. We were wrong.
Do you know how glad I am to be wrong? Do you know how glad I am to be wrong? I'm so happy to be wrong.
And there were a few votes for 1-1. That sadly did come true.
Because 1-1 had, sadly, if
we talked about this last week.
I decided 1-1 would have to go because otherwise the battle's still the battle's won.
He's such a tactical kind of strategic
he's gonna go
focal
to the end.
point.
Yeah.
That he was going to be a target from the beginning.
Yeah.
Sure enough. I mean, and all credit to him. He made it to just about the end and put everything in his being into the battle.
Yeah.
And he may have, even in many ways, won it for them. By being able to break through the door in Winterfell.
Breaking through the door was a decisive moment because they could have holed up there in Winterfell for quite some time.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
cheers to 1-1.
Raise your glasses for 1-1.
For 1-1.
Spill a drop, if you're outdoors. Don't do it on your carpet.
Certainly not in your carpet. No one want that.
But yeah,
But
this one's for you, 1-1.
1-1 was so heroic.
And the last of his kind too, right? That was an extinction event.
It seemed like it was the last of its kind. It's possible we may hear more of, but I don't think so.
I think
it's possible, I guess.
My
right?
sense is that at this point, probably anything above the wall is now zombified. So
yeah, but we do know a Stark child that's up there that's not zombified. He's
fair enough.
There's a reason. So
and another Stark who's half zombified.
Yeah.
So there's hope. There's somehow maybe.
Yeah. But
it's not looking good.
But it's very symbolic in many ways that if he was the last of the giants there to really do something to storm Winterfell, to get Winterfell back to the proper rule of the North, the one who really saved his kind. I think it's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, cheers to 1-1.
Yeah, indeed. And you'll be missed, buddy. Big man.
Such a great battle. So what do we talk about first? We talk about Daenerys because it happened first, because that's
no main point. We got to get right into it. Was this the best?
Was this the best episode? Okay.
Episode ever?
Jeez.
Was this the best episode ever in Game of Thrones history? Now that's a huge question.
That's a big question.
Some epic.
You can't just say, "Yep."
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can't just deny it right away either.
No way.
Because we definitely know you need all the other episodes in the storyline to get to that point of that gratification.
Absolutely.
You couldn't just get to the end there. You need everything.
In one aspect, in one way, there's really no doubt. In terms of the result of the episode, who survived, who died, all of that, this may have been the best episode.
Yeah.
Good guys made it, bad guys died. I mean, the worst guy, really. My sense is that, Euron or, someone's going to have to elevate themselves pretty seriously to take that role as the main bad guy.
Now, as far as battle scenes, that battle scene where the cinematography, if you will, where Jon Snow is racing through and running around, and it's like that one long shot. That was incredible.
Oh,
it was so tense. I know so many people.
Early on,
when it first started, and he's building up, he's running around, he's knocked off his horse, he's just in the middle. It's just so intense. And as it builds, and there's just all these dead bodies going around of everybody, of both sides. The intensity was just nothing like any other battle scene.
While we're lifting our glasses, for the dearly departed, that brings up another one, Rickon.
Oh, Rickon.
Poor kid. We just had a sip, a heartfelt sip for you.
That's a tough one, Rickon.
That was a tough one, kid. You didn't deserve it.
He didn't deserve it.
You were an innocent by all standards. You were just a little guy in the middle. Yeah. You just walked into the room at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Wrong. And before we, even consider villainizing Jon or Sansa for putting that into effect, essentially, let's be real. Rickon Stark was gonna die.
I don't think anyone died. Yeah.
Sansa was right, and we talked about this last week as well. He was the most real threat to Ramsay Bolton.
Yeah, there's no way he's gonna.
In any way, he's a legitimate Stark heir, and granted, so is Bran now. He didn't know, of course, but any legitimate Stark heir, a male, who can, who's virile, who can take the throne, and continue the Stark line, is gonna be, persona non grata, to use a fancy term here. In the Bolton household.
Yeah.
There's really no one, after the Stark family goes, it's a free-for-all. And the Boltons could say, we took it, it's ours,
so
we rule the North.
Rickon had no choice.
But as long as there's a Stark male,
as cruel as Sansa had to say that in the war room, she was totally right. She was like, she didn't have any joy in saying that, but Rickon's gone. There's no way.
Yeah.
And she knew the way of this Ramsay's thinking.
And that brings up another, I think, important aspect of what makes this episode good was kind of the redemption of Sansa. And we talked about this a little beforehand, and we'll kind of lead you through it.
Well, now think about not just redemption. Think about how she started. I'm going all the way back to when we first introduced her. Season 1, Episode 1. She was just a girl with fantasies of one day marrying a prince, and she was into the knitting and all these very girlish things, where Arya was the contrast to that.
Absolutely.
And she couldn't understand her sister Arya went to battle. And here's Sansa, parlaying with the enemy right there.
Boom.
Bringing back a whole other army of thousands of soldiers.
Saving the
right
day.
There,
really.
Taunting and saying to the,
And even tactically and strategically. We talked about this.
When you think about that character.
Yeah.
That's really.
And remember, I'll never forget, I think this was very recently, right, where Jaime said, girls like that tend to die. And Brienne was said about Sansa, you've never met a girl like that.
Yes,
And it's true. She's become very unique in that sense. She's a leader.
Yeah.
She's become a leader, and no, there's no doubt. She could have been forthright, a little bit more, truthful with Jon about who she may have had, the trick she had up her sleeve. But she had a tactical point.
Now this is something that it was bothering me last night. I had a night to think about it because we're recording this the day after. At first, but I digested this, and this was regarding why didn't Sansa tell Jon everything she knew about the request to Littlefinger to get to Knights of the Vale? Why wasn't she forthcoming? This is big information. And I was not about, because I didn't want to give her like all the credit after, because I'm like, dude, this is really important. You got to trust your brother.
Right.
But I think I had to come to the conclusion, as of now, I might change my mind after I learn more, but right now that she just knew Ramsay so well that she knew she would play these emotional tricks, that she knew that like Jon would get sucked into it, which was totally correct.
Yeah.
That she couldn't let him know just because she had to preserve, and she just knew better.
And she needed that card up her sleeve.
She needed that card up her sleeve because he would play those tricks, because he's so cunning and just messes with people's heads in such a dark way, such a twisted way. The whole, obviously, the Rick and let loose thing. Jon running, aimlessly.
He lured Jon to what should have been his very quick death, and like would have been a huge morale kill.
And albeit like maybe some might say, well, maybe she didn't know that they were on the way yet, and that's possible. I really think it goes down to she really, as she said to Jon, like, you're not asking me for what I know. I know him better than you. I know him. You met him for like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I really know this guy. Like, you don't know who you're messing with.
And
so I think
the deal,
which is really amazing. I think she purposely did it just because she knew of the strategy Ramsay would have.
Ramsay played the perfect battle. He looked at the forces that he saw before him. He plotted it out. The columns of arrows that he sent in, killing his own men, but just knowing that he had the numbers and he could afford to lose those men, and just to wipe out so many of them, to create that like pile of dead bodies in the middle that made it that much harder to fight. He planned the perfect battle,
and only because he's so sadistic, he didn't mind killing his own men.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, that was part of it. So perfect battle, and like the idea of like just winning.
And in a sense, Sansa plays the tactical counter in which she says she needs to see how this plays out. She also kind of let some people die by not sending in those men, right? But at the same time, what she did was she ensured that she was going to send all of those men in a way that was going to catch them off guard, that was going to ultimately save more lives probably in the long run.
Because they would have been sent in by
arrows.
The arrows would have wiped out.
So she didn't do it in a cold-hearted manner the way Ramsay did, but she did a very tactically sound thing by not informing Jon, so that Jon and his men made it all the more kind of clear that this was the battle they were fighting.
Yeah.
So when these other guys come in, it was a total wild card. So Sansa, like, hats off to you.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of why this could be considered one of the great episodes of Game of Thrones, if not the greatest.
Yeah.
Because of that redemptive arc,
Oh, and then just the chase, and then just
the chase down,
chasing him down, the bloody fist of Jon, and looking like just so wild,
and the dog, and we'll get more into the dagger and the details.
Face. Oh, so good.
But
okay, so that was amazing, and I think we have some hit points later about that. So the other great part of this episode, of course, is how we started off. Daenerys.
Yeah.
We can't if this episode of Daenerys is in any other Game of Thrones episode, it's all we would have been talking about.
That would have been our focus.
It was so epic.
Yeah, that would have been the ending.
We had everything we've been wanting from her for so long. Full on dragon riding.
Yeah, not one, but three.
All three attacking. She had the whole Dothraki, all of the Dothraki. They're all following her. She still has all of her Unsullied, who are just so committed to her.
Yep.
And I guess she still has the second sons too. That's like a smaller troop there as well. The dragons, 3 dragons. You're screwed. You're gonna go up against that.
And now you also have Yara and Theon's Iron Fleet. Like,
yes.
This is now officially like a conquering force.
So you have an Iron Fleet of the best the best ships from Iron Islands. You have the Dothraki, who are amazing on horse. You have the Unsullied, who are the best on foot. You have a small troop of like the Second Sons, who are just like badasses in themselves. But on top of all that, you got 3 freaking dragons who can like just breathe fire and fly around.
And one of them,
and
like, dude, I forget his name, Dracarys, whatever. He is full grown.
Drogon.
He is.
Yeah.
That's a dragon right there. Like, and the other guys are pretty big too.
They're getting pretty big.
And by the way, that was Tyrion's work right there, right? He freed them.
Tyrion like let them be loose. If Tyrion hadn't earlier in the season let them go to the shackles, they wouldn't have like broken free.
They wouldn't have been able to, right? Because they would have been chained.
So I'm guessing like that they heard all the screams and just were like.
Maybe they heard Drogon. They heard Daenerys. Maybe they could feel Daenerys' presence.
Yeah, they felt
whatever.
It
was that was
wow.
And like once again, that's what when you're talking about the greatest episode ever. That's
what people
action
wanted.
right there, right?
Everyone's asking for more dragons.
Two huge, like, kind of characters and groups coming together in the way of the Greyjoys, the Greyjoy kids and Daenerys. Two queens, which is also like adding Sansa. There's now a third queen.
Yes.
Like, that's great.
Queen of the North.
This was a show that was so full of epic moments, and so many amazing characters, coming together.
Yes.
On the battlefield and on various battlefields.
And in our hearts.
They
came together in many places.
But so, and of course, there are a few aspects where you could say maybe it wasn't the best episode ever. Because there was so much good to it. And granted, we did lose Rickon pretty horrifically.
Yeah, that was terrible.
1-1, that was a sad, kind of heroic death, granted, but...
But those two put in your face because we got that right. But
that's right.
But at the same time, I don't think anyone was doubting those two.
Mm-hmm. But so in this on the scale of like an Oberyn or even a Hardhome, less may have been lost in some ways.
Less may have been lost.
So we can't really punish it for being like the good guys win.
We knew a ton of people were going to...
The bad guys have won so many times.
Battle of this, that means for the North. It was a battle for the North.
Yeah.
People are going to die. That's just it. There's no escaping that.
And let's be real. Like, if Ramsay wins, it means that Jon, Tormund, Davos, Sansa, like,
they're
pretty much all of them are dead. Lyanna, like,
they'd all be gone.
Melisandre, like, you'd just be going on a list of like huge characters that would all be essentially wiped off the map in one go. So, and then 1-1 Rickon, etc. Yeah, so, this. We shouldn't. I don't think we should punish the episode for finally giving us some redemption.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's punishing it. I think
it might still go up there.
I think it's up there. Yeah.
Now
everyone's wanted this. Everyone's wanted this because like they're the two most noted bastards, right?
Yeah.
Jon Snow and Ramsay Snow. I'm not gonna call him Ramsay Bolton because that's bullshit.
Yeah, fuck that.
I'll still, but they're the most infamous here. This has been such a build-up, of everyone,
Barring Gendry, let's not forget.
Yeah. But the fact that, like, Ramsay was taunting Jon Snow by calling him bastard...
No, of course, I'm kidding.
...just shows how delusional that Ramsay thinks he's not a bastard now just because of some title. I mean, just really, really wild. But such a good episode.
Man.
Wow.
Now... One final aspect for us to judge it as like the best episode ever or not would be, do you think this was the best battle we've seen in Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Does it think it tops Hardhome? Or the Battle of Blackwater Bay?
It tops. The only reason it tops Hardhome, I love Hardhome. Hardhome is definitely top 3. But the only reason I think it tops Hardhome,
Blackwater Bay, man. Like
Blackwater Bay was very good too.
That was like Tyrion and Pod and Bronn and the Hound.
I think it was the pure
Davos and
the filming of it, how it's portrayed, just the realness of what battles are like. You really felt it. The footage is really there. Like sometimes in those battle scenes, especially like Blackwater Bay, you're seeing these like peripheral characters like hiding out, like knowing it's so intense. You're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And just how like bodies are just piling up and around.
No. I mean, the way Jon is like dancing with his sword and like knocking guys off his horse.
What it must really feel like the fear of being in battle. Like you really felt like, geez, this is really scary. It's a big thing to talk, but then you're actually in it. So
and I actually agree. Yeah.
The filming of it made it.
I think as a cinematics battle, that was some stunning stuff because like what. With the camera skipping, especially when Jon's like beginning to go under piles of bodies and like he's suffocating, and there's a moment where we swear Tormund's been sliced, like hacked up.
Yeah, really.
And maybe that was actually a different, different wildling or something.
Umber? I couldn't tell. It was either
Karstark no, he was fighting Umber.
It was Umber, yeah.
We didn't see Karstark. Did we see him die?
I think like only because I watched the subtitles, he was there like leading it and like saying stuff in the very beginning.
I hope he died horrifically. I'm gonna rewatch that. I need to rewatch the whole thing. I heard from someone today that they have a friend who's watched this episode 6 times already. Now, just to be clear, like we're less than 24 hours after airing.
Yeah.
Like people are going nuts right now.
Yeah, it's very very exciting. So I think, my opinion, man, I'm having a hard time thinking of which episode of. I mean, there's so many ways.
It's probably the best battle ever. It's the best battle ever.
Yeah. As far as redemption,
it has the best redemption ever.
That's the best redemption.
And like now, we saw those banners drop, and we'll talk more about that as well. Well, in fact, you know what? That's actually a perfect segue.
Let's do segue.
Hit list.
Let's do a hit list.
We're gonna talk about our hit list this week, and hit list point number 1 is Ryan. You have something to talk about. You want to talk about banners?
Banners, of course.
What else? What else?
My favorite just single moment, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, was watching that Stark banner just drop down the side of one of the walls there, of Winterfell. Back, the Starks are back. Thinking about how long Winterfell has not been in the Stark possession, thinking of how long the Starks have been compromised, and that this is their home, and it's going to be that way, was such a big. Oh, wonderful, tremendous feeling.
Apparently, it's been 3 actual human years in our lives since a Stark banner. No, for real, on TV in our lives. 3 years ago.
Our lives, yeah.
It's a little more than 3 years ago that a Stark banner was up in Winterfell. So for 3 years of our lives, as human beings here on planet Earth. Yeah, sorry, we're always crossed between the world of ice and fire and the real world here. But yeah. In the world that we currently exist in, 3 years have passed in our lives since there was a Stark banner up in Winterfell.
Yeah.
So that's
a long time.
Something we've been waiting for a long time. You think about what are other things that you've been waiting for the last 3 years of your life that have not happened? Maybe world peace, but beyond that,
it's when you think back to just the fact that the last time the Starks have had it was when Bran was still at Winterfell, just being this little king, and then Theon just came in during when Robb was at war.
Yeah.
That's how long it's been, back to when Robb was still alive.
Yeah. So it went from Greyjoy's hands to
Red
Bolton
Wedding.
hands.
It's been before the Red Wedding. This is a long time ago.
And since then, Theon's done a whole new slide, a whole shift over.
But I think, just seeing that banner come down just meant a great tiding of many things, and it made me realize Arya can come back now to her home.
Yeah, Bran even, right?
Bran could, if he gets home, could be welcomed at home.
And I think
I've
heard that there's some foreshadowing to the notion that Bran wants to hold Winterfell against the zombies, the White Walkers. So I guess they still have to break the wall or get through the wall somehow. That's a thing, right? But maybe Winterfell is going to be a place of great importance.
It's a great place.
It is supposedly one of the great defensive posts.
It's made for withstanding the winter weather of it's been.
I was reading something the other day, and they talked about the great keeps that are the hardest to penetrate essentially are Winterfell,
Storm's End,
the castle, whatever its name is.
I wonder, is Harrenhal listed, or I could say that's not because it's so hard to man. Harrenhal is a very hard place to fortify because it's so big. It's hard to keep it.
There's another one.
I don't think Storm's End would be the top one because it's right there.
Storm's End is that was in there.
Yeah.
No, dude, this is from a new chapter in George Martin's upcoming book that he just released. There was talk, and he mentions that 4 keeps that are the hardest to defend, and it comes up because a character goes to Storm's End in the next book. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything about it.
It's Storm's End.
There's some heat in Storm's End from what I understand, but beyond that, he mentions Winterfell is one of those keeps that's incredibly hard to take, essentially.
Certainly.
So I guess having one there was a great strategic benefit.
Yes.
But beyond that, perhaps that was a miscue by Ramsay.
Yeah.
Right, to take Jon on. Maybe he could have kept Winterfell, if he defended the place better.
That was the big thing. I think he will come out, and they would be better if they're staying inside. But
and to be fair, I think he thought he had such an advantage in terms of men that he could come out and just overwhelm them, which he did to great effect. Again, credit to Ramsay, and you know what? Let's raise our glass for not necessarily Ramsay, but for the actor who played him.
Oh, he's really good.
Ewan.
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
If you're listening, I'm sorry.
No, I don't know if there's been a better actor in the show, honestly. Like, there's no one, and maybe there's no one in any show, movie, or like, radio thing that I've ever hated more than Ramsay Bolton.
He's in a PBS show with Ian McKellen, Vicious, and he's really funny in it.
Yeah,
and after the first episode of trying to be like, that's not Ramsay, you're like, wow, he's really likable and like goofy.
And apparently he's a really nice guy, and so that makes it all the better. The job he did playing Ramsay.
Very talented actor to do that.
And he was a phenomenal presence in the show. It's going to be hard to top Ramsay Bolton as like in terms of bad guys on Game of Thrones, and I'm sure we're gonna have someone go at it. And you wonder where that's going to come from.
One of your do you want to use this as a hip transition to one of your hit points then?
Okay.
I mean, switch around. Let's go to your hit point. Right, so
sliding into that then, and I think you're probably alluding to Euron, perhaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, my hit list point was, and I'm going to focus on that whole scene through the lens of that conversation between Theon. Sorry, there's a conversation between Tyrion and the two Greyjoy kids. And particularly, I appreciated the way that Tyrion held Theon to task about his past misgivings.
Yeah.
And it reminds you that Theon is on a redemption arc now. I mean, it's not even a redemption arc, it's just a pathetic arc.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's had his will to be evil, like, beaten out of him. He's just so destroyed. But he was bad, and he did have two innocent kids, like, burnt alive, and he tried to pawn them off as Stark kids, and then in doing so, the psychological horror that he tried to impose on the Stark family, like thinking that their family members have been burned alive, these two innocent kids. So he did come from a really bad place, and Tyrion was it was so good to remember Tyrion's innate actual goodness. Like, yes, he's a good strategic element, and he knows what he's doing, but he's also a genuinely good dude, and he remembered Theon's bad things.
Yeah.
And he kept him to it.
It was a great introduction, and I was like, I was genuinely surprised because I was just so caught up in the emotion of the show when he started talking. Last time I saw you, we were at Winterfell.
Right.
And I'm like, What? Who is he talking to?
Do you remember that? That was when the Lannisters were coming through town
that was
with Robert.
Season 1, first episodes.
King Robert.
So when he first mentioned last time I saw he was at Winterfell, I'm like, whoa. Who? And I think it was designed to set that way, because he met everyone. Everyone was at Winterfell at that point. All the Lannisters, all the Starks, But it was Theon with his sister there to have a conversation, a very important conversation.
Absolutely.
No coffee was involved. It was a stand-up chat, but that's okay.
That's sometimes
it doesn't mean it was still important.
There was definitely not a whole lot of love between the Lannisters and Starks in that encounter, and I mean, Tyrion being Tyrion, he was never necessarily on the side of the Lannisters, but I think a lot of the Starks mistrusted him, as they did all the Lannisters.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, remember Tyrion got kidnapped by Catelyn Stark.
That's right, yeah.
Because they were convinced that he tried to plot to kill Bran.
That's right.
They were so distrusting of him.
Yeah.
Everyone was,
No, and he's the imp, and he had this reputation, mostly because of stupid stereotypes and nonsensical sort of legends about him.
And just because he's a Lannister.
And if anything, we've learned how great of a character Tyrion was. And again, here was a reminder, here was a reminder that, for a guy like Tyrion who hasn't seen what Theon has gone through and the sort of transformation that he's been sort of subjected to, really.
Yeah.
Tyrion is still a good guy, and he's going to hold you to task if you've done some shitty stuff.
Yeah.
And and it'll be interesting to see those conversations play out between Theon and Tyrion, like as Tyrion learns, the extent to what he's gone through, and this could be also transformative in terms of how the Daenerys and now the Greyjoys and Tyrion and how they approach the Starks when they come into Winterfell. Perhaps Tyrion, and now especially Theon, could tell Daenerys that, or could convince Daenerys to be somewhat, sympathetic to the Starks, and in the way that she was very accepting of kind of Yara Greyjoy's kind of demand to sort of rule over her people, given the willingness to give up rape and slavery and whatever.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the presence of Theon and Tyrion going back to that, early introduction of, where we're talking about where Tyrion met the Starks.
Yeah.
There could be that could bode well for the Starks in terms of Daenerys' forces entering.
Well, I do wonder though. I mean, like, Daenerys didn't realize that at the time when Ned was on the small council and he was the hand of the king, he was the only one telling Robert Baratheon that, hey, you're talking about murdering a child. Talking about when they're trying to get Daenerys.
Yeah.
And Robert Baratheon was furious. He wanted all the Targaryens eliminated.
I remember.
And he was saying, like, no, this is a child. You'll become no worse. You'll become as bad as they are. She didn't know this. She did learn of, like, the plot from the king and all the usurper and his whole crew that they were trying to kill her, and I think she includes Ned Stark in that. So I don't think she knows any of that. So she might associate the Ned Stark at least with still trying to plot to eliminate her. That'll never be over. So I think just taking over all the Seven Kingdoms, including the North, is still in her agenda. It's just like all the same. It's like taking my shit, coming back. So yeah, I don't know if it's been a lot in her thoughts. I don't think it's been like heavily in her thoughts. I think Lannisters, she certainly doesn't like.
Yeah.
Any Baratheons.
To be fair, it was Ned who, maybe killed her brother, or whatever. But what is it?
Oh, that's true. Oh, yes, of course. How could I? Forget that. Yeah, Ned killed her. What am I thinking?
But nonetheless, I think it bodes well for.
Oh no. Robert Baratheon killed Rhaegar.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that. I haven't thought on that, but yeah, certainly I think for Daenerys to have now Tyrion and potentially Theon, and I don't know what Yara would have to say about the Stark, but that's almost irrelevant. To have two people, especially Theon, who's very obviously sympathetic now, having remorse for what he's done, and I think knowing the general good character of the Starks, having been raised by them and having not, had his dick cut off as a captive, for example, that bodes well for the Starks. That bodes well, assuming, of course, that the Starks are still in Winterfell come Daenerys' entrance to Westeros. But anyway, before we get sidetracked off of Essos, you wanted to make another hit list point about
hit list number 2.
Yeah, and before what we were just talking about, before the Greyjoy meeting with Daenerys, you wanted to talk about
the surrender or the message. The
victory speech.
The victory speech,
they certainly sent a message.
Certainly sent a message when Tyrion, Grey Worm, Missandei talking with the 3 slave owners after Daenerys was ripping shit up.
With 3 dragons.
With 3 dragons. With Dothraki horde that is just coming through. She's just gonna destroy them. They're fucked. Woo. They are so fucked. And they said, I have to take one of your heads. And these 2 dudes push the one guy forward. It's like, oh, him did it. Make him kneel. And they slice off the 2 guys' heads, making them do it. And then say, we're keeping you alive to send a message. Oh, yeah, wow. This was great.
Yeah.
This was great. I mean, like, with both these plot lines going in the episode, I mean, like, you have Ramsay Snow, who's universally hated. And these other ones are slavers. So, like, you just hate. It's just, like, they're just so hated, both these people. They're both, like, despicable people that just getting great. Like, oh, we killed the slave's head. Kept one alive just to send the message, which is pretty good.
And the one who was thrown under the bus, who was like low-born and whatever, that was one of my favorite Grey Worm moments.
Yeah.
Certainly in a long time.
I like the Grey Worm thing where like
the joke.
You are terrible at telling. That was the worst joke I've ever.
We didn't talk about that.
Oh, that was just a great little moment in it.
Grey Worm's joke earlier in this season.
I think it was just last week perhaps, but very recently. You're terrible at making jokes. Of course, I've heard jokes. I'm in an army.
Yeah, absolutely.
But great stuff. I loved it. It just really sent a message, and sure, that message will be carried.
Absolutely.
Because who's not going to talk about a white-haired Targaryen queen riding a dragon with 2 other dragons, these things that are not meant to be mythical, with a fleet of Greyjoys, with a Dothraki horse tribe, with people on foot, the Unsullied, all of those who are just wanting to be with her. They're not sellswords. They haven't just
by virtue of her message and her power.
Yeah, they want to be with her. They feel for her queen. That message gonna.
Suddenly, we're talking about a real force.
Yeah.
This is the Iron Fleet.
Yeah.
No, this is serious. And before, again, one last comment, and it's kind of going back to the previous point I had made, but before we leave Essos for good, what about that sexual chemistry?
Oh yeah. Well,
between Daenerys and
Asha.
Yara.
In the show. Oh yeah, in the show she's that is a note in the show and in the book. They changed her name, and I think it's because Osha, the wildling.
Maybe, and Arya.
I felt like it was Asha. The wildling. Osha, O-S-H-A, and A-S-H-A might have been confusing for 2 years.
Fair enough.
So I keep forgetting her name. So it's Yara in the show, same character. We learned, she likes the ladies.
Yeah, we know that as a fact now.
And then she said, "Oh, so this doesn't require a marriage from you?" She's like,
"I'm open for
I'm open to other things." And Daenerys is like, "Oh, yeah."
Smile at that.
Well, I think I mean, like, I don't know if Daenerys is into that, but she was just like, "All right,
okay,
cheeky girl."
Well, now book reader.
Yeah.
There's talk out there that in the books, she does kind of like.
In the book, she has like a guy boy toy.
Right,
thing.
But then she also has. I've heard in the book she also plays around on both sides.
I don't recall that being in the book at all. Of her playing around with like, I don't recall that at all. Okay. I remember having like she did have like this boy toy. He was like a minor character, in one of the battle scenes, but it wasn't like a big thing. It just happened to be a thing.
And clearly, Theon's not going to serve that role.
Yeah. So
he's out.
So I think that's a fun change for the show. I'm glad they did it. And just it shows Daenerys has just like she's from Essos. People in Essos, they're down. They get down.
Well, so yeah, I had read, and granted, it was like so. These were some of the looter comments, like in the underneath the preview for the next episode. I was seeing these and stuff, but there was talk that perhaps in the book, especially like I think there was like a Dothraki like handmaiden that she was given early on.
Oh, for Daenerys.
For Daenerys.
I thought you were talking about Yara.
No, yeah, I'm talking about Daenerys.
Oh, Daenerys. Oh, yes. Daenerys definitely fooled around.
She's fooled around
with ladies.
So it makes the prospect of potentially her.
Well, yeah, they haven't shown people, but like, yeah, there was like a scene where with one of her handmaidens, one of her Dothraki handmaidens, as one of my friends from England says, flicking beans.
Oh. I might cut that. I think I'm cutting that. Is that appropriate?
No, that's what I've heard it called. My friends, in the UK listen to that.
If that's legit, if it's not legit, I apologize.
Well, we'll see if that's censored out. You'll know. Yeah.
But,
I think it's a fun term. You get the visualization. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds. I'm kind of hungry, honestly, so I'm thinking about like Mexican food now.
Suddenly, I'm thinking of.
So that's weird. But anyway,
that's weird.
I don't know how that happened. But so let's wrap it up. Let's just I think one final comment. HBO is pushing the limits. This show is like totally. Like creating a paradigm shift in how we consider fantasy and like what could happen in this realm. Like why not a lesbian couple taking over the fucking world, right? Like and I couldn't imagine a better one than one with Daenerys and Yara. Like those are two badass ladies right there. Yeah. Who could make a very serious power couple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bam.
Either on
the table.
Either in the high seas or on a dragon.
Anyway, one final point on the hit list, and I've got to talk about it. You probably want to talk about it. Ramsay dying.
Yeah, this is the best way to wrap up this episode. Woo. Talk about the Ramsay death. Gratifying. We did mention that would be probably the most appropriate was by the Hounds. We had other ideas of like direwolves would be a great way too, but definitely by like dogs because that's his preferred method. But definitely having it be Sansa do it and Jon stopping the death so Sansa could have it looking over me like this is your kill.
Having Jon have that satisfaction of like having him that close to it, and then B having the satisfaction of realizing that Jon is such a good dude that he can pull out of even that kind of a trance.
Okay, now did you have a worry moment you thought of Oberyn Martell? When he stopped and looked over to the side.
Of course I did. I did.
Oh, God. I was so nervous that when he stopped pummeling and looked to the side, that he was going to pull out a knife. Some shit.
Especially because he had that smirk on his face.
Yeah, that smirk.
Like he was ready for it.
I was just so worried about Oberyn Martell. I'm like, no, either finish the job or get off, like, back away.
I know what you mean. But like it worked out to the best way because it was this recognition of like, as much as I want to kill this guy and as much as he deserves to die like painfully in this manner, Sansa deserves it even more. Like this guy has put her through, and you know, and in a lot of ways, I think it's even a kind of like all the criticism that the show got in response to the rape of the last season and the discussion of maybe misogyny and representation of women and sort of these very traumatic things. And I'm not even saying that I disagree with a lot of the criticism in some ways, but this is a response to that, which kind of says, at least in a narrative and a plot way, that you know, like she has fought her way back on top of that, and she had a moment where she could really kind of look this thing in the eye.
Yeah.
That's happened to her.
It was her first kill.
Yeah.
Right? Did she kill? I don't think she
killed her. It was her first kill.
It was her first kill.
And it was a great one. And it was she did it. She had him in a psychological game where he was like, these are my dogs, they would never do this, you know, and like, so in the same way that he fucked with so many people and had them hunted and shot arrows.
And it was a very agonizing death too. Very agonizing.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Because he would flay the people.
And this is what he threatened to happen. Remember he said he was going to do this to Jon Snow.
Yeah.
When they lost.
Yeah.
Which he would have, as we know for a fact.
So it was a very agonizing, very painful, appropriate. I think people were just, when that dog started going nuts. I think people across the world watching the show were cheering and jumping up on their couches and just loving every bit of it.
Yeah. And as for a rub it in your face type thing, just real quick, because we're talking about glory and victory and all that, how about that Riders of the Rohan moment?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
No, it was great.
Even though you know Littlefinger's on the other side of it somehow, like, that was still just awesome.
Oh, it was good, yeah.
Anyway.
So, yes.
Ramsay got killed.
Ramsay
so
got killed.
fittingly. There might, like, I had one fun thought. What if, like, surrounded by his own dogs, Sansa opens up, like, a fourth gate, and it's a wolf, you know? Like, if it's, like, the problem, of course, is what wolf could it be? Maybe Ghost, because we didn't see Ghost.
Ghost is the one remaining.
Where was Ghost in this battle?
I was wondering that. I think
Wolf Watch. This is a new segment called Wolf Watch.
Did Jon take him, like, from the wall?
I don't know. Maybe he left him there for Dolorous Edd.
Yeah. I feel like Ghost may have been left behind at the wall and didn't want to take him into battle because he wants to keep him safe. I feel like we haven't seen him on the road. You know.
I almost even hope so.
Yeah, I think so. I think
I can't afford to see another one go.
I think he's safe at the wall.
And I want to see Nymeria return as well.
Yeah. I have a feeling we're gonna see the return of Nymeria.
Okay, now Ryan,
right,
this is impromptu. I'm gonna catch you off guard. We said maybe we didn't have a game of theories to talk about, and I have a little one to talk about.
No.
Because it stays away from the preview, as far as we know of what's going to come in the next episode. R plus L equals J, Tower of Joy. We may see it in this next episode. We may not.
We may not.
There's too much to see otherwise.
Season 10, they've got to wrap up as many plotlines as they can.
And we're not even talking about it because we're going to talk about it in the preview.
Yeah, we have a preview episode, so.
But just real quick, so assuming maybe we're not even going to see, maybe Bran needs to delve into the
I think
this
it's gonna
Raven skills.
I think it's going to be via Bran.
Yeah.
Some more Bran looking into
maybe
things.
on his way down to Winterfell, and then by the time he gets there, he's like, oh shit,
because that's the only way.
Hey John, I know who your mom is.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so, what do you think about R plus L equals J?
I think we're not going to learn any more until Bran does some more searching.
But as a theory, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I definitely think that's the most credible thing, and it makes the most sense, and it just everything.
And so to break it down, R plus L.
I do admit though, there's a part of me that wishes that like because everyone believes this now, that it turns out it was just Ned's bastard.
It's something else.
Yeah,
or something else. Or even.
I mean, but there's a part of me that just wishes. It was just.
Well, so I thought about this, and
but I do believe that it's R plus L equals
J. To do a quick fill in here, R plus L equals J is the theory of Rhaegar Targaryen plus Lyanna Stark equals Jon Snow, and so. The story which you've been told, which we've all been told, which we all kind of sense is probably not true.
I think most people believe RL plus L equals J.
Right?
Yeah.
But so that story goes that that Ned Stark, the real story that's out there, is in the narrative, is that Ned Stark had a child with a prostitute in a tavern or something.
Oh, that's what they think they believe. No.
What's the like story that like Catelyn Stark believed?
Oh, it's really not even known. Like if it's a prostitute, or just some sort of
someone.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was like a tavern.
No,
job.
he wouldn't, because Ned's so quiet of a guy, he just wouldn't even talk about it. It's just
and yeah, that's my thought that it was a tavern thing made it even less believable. You know that like, oh come on, Ned's gonna like.
I think it was so.
That's such Tyrion behavior. Come on.
Yeah.
But anyway, the story goes is that Ned kind of like was infidelious and had a kid.
Yeah.
But the thought that most people have is that it's Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark who actually kind of maybe did fall in love or something in the Tower of Joy, which we've seen Ned Stark's sort of approach in the premonitions and all that. Yeah. What else could it be? Like, could it actually be Robert Baratheon's kid?
No, because if it was, he would tell Robert about it. He would tell Robert.
Right?
I mean, it makes sense that he's Jon Snow's part Targaryen because...
Oh,
because
if Robert Targaryen would be killed,
he would be killed. Yeah, and so to protect Jon's life, he had to make up that as his own, because he knew that his buddy Robert would kill him. And when it's really his nephew. It just makes the most sense. Yeah.
There's really no other way I could go to think about it.
But I think we're going to see a lot more things to theorize about after next week's episode.
And there's one sad part of that, because that makes him a Targaryen. Which, I mean, it's good, again, in terms of, like, Daenerys' approach. Right? That means there's also a Targaryen in-house that she can kind of relate to.
Yeah, if he's coming and somehow it's proven that he's Targaryen, then that means...
And then there's a familial connection between the Starks and the Targaryens. I mean, that's huge, actually.
That's very enormous.
In the big picture.
Yeah.
So that's great in that sense. But also, it'd be fun if he was actually like an actual Stark descendant, just so that he could...
Well, he would be.
Right? Because if Rickon's dead...
Lyanna Stark, he's part Stark, part Targaryen.
But he can't, like, you want a Stark presiding, right? Like, he's a Targaryen. Like, his name is a Targaryen. So that actually means Targaryens have, through marriage, kind of, like, taken over Winterfell. But so it would be nice if he was an actual, like, Stark, you know? And to conclude that real quick, with Rickon dead, that's one heir gone. With Bran, I mean, he could probably still have a kid.
I think the way the line of succession works is that Sansa is...
Well, technically, no, it's men. And Bran, they don't know Bran's alive.
But
Sansa...
I believe that'd be the line of succession, yeah. Especially since he's a bastard child. Especially since he's a bastard child.
There's a name for it? No, definitely over Jon Snow, for sure. I'm not... No. I mean, but... So you agree that, like, if they know Bran Stark's alive... Bran Stark is the legitimate heir.
If Bran came back, then Bran would be.
So that's what I'm saying.
But as far as right now, Sansa would be, even if, like...
But so right now, as far as, like, who's living, Bran Stark is the rightful heir of Winterfell.
Yeah. The one thing that
I don't know if they have...
Here's the rules of the Seven Kingdoms. If the king makes it so, the king is a single person who could... what's the word? Solidify.
Just decide, or
make
whatever,
you like not a bastard anymore, and say give you.
So he gives Jon Stark status.
That's how Ramsay became because of the partners.
To legitimize, you mean?
Legitimize. That's one way. That's an interesting.
If they beat the Targaryen news by legitimizing.
If Daenerys is like, okay, I could kind of use this thing here if Jon's gone back in the north.
Let's call him a Stark. For strategic purposes.
Yeah. Now, in the books, that's actually a plot device where Stannis Baratheon says, "Hey,
I'll legitimize you as Stark." That's right.
Yeah, he comes and says,
"That's in the show as well."
And
that's right.
And he gives him like a really good offer. He's like, "You go to Winterfell. You be Lord of Winterfell. You're Jon Stark now. You're no more bastard. I need you there." I mean, how tempting an offer is that?
Yeah, no,
that's got to be really tempting.
That's why Jon Snow is such a hero.
Yeah, that's why he's such a hero. Let me say one more thing about this episode. Kit Harington, the actor who plays Jon Snow. I've heard some people. My cousin was mentioning this to me the other day. We were talking about. A lot of people were not thrilled by the selection of casting. I disagree.
Oh, that's silly.
And I think this past episode, his portrayal of Jon Snow was the best, like, of any episode I can recall. The intensity, the emotion, all the ranges, it was just so on. I just felt every emotion that Jon Snow was going through each wave.
Absolutely.
I thought he did an amazing job.
It really reminded me of...
We'll see if he gets an award for this. We'll see.
He could.
It was so good.
And it really reminded me I said sort of it was a very cinematic battle, and that way it was probably the best battle we've seen. And it reminded me of some of these like serious war films we've seen, with like Band of Brothers, or where especially those cuts where it's like he's underneath the pile and he can't breathe, and you see like a flash of someone above the pile, and then you get a flash of Jon Snow's face as he's struggling to get out, and I mean.
Or like Saving Private Ryan, the intensity.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry, that's what I meant. Actually. But it was a very cinematic moment, very intense. Like I was watching with Masha, my wife, and she had me pause like 3 times in the middle. It's like what? Like she had to catch a breath. It was so intense.
My girlfriend had to step out herself,
and so it
was very intense. Looking at my phone after watching the episode, so many texts from everybody. I know, like this is getting too stressful. I can't deal. I was feeling the same way. I'm like, I don't know.
It was heavy. But it gave you that gravity, I think, that you would experience in a battle. Great episode. I think
wonderful.
To tie into that final like Game of Theories thing, Jon Snow is likely a Targaryen, which means that Bran Stark is likely the last rightful heir to Winterfell, which means we kind of want him to survive and get home.
Yeah.
Maybe like
unless he's got work.
You know what? Want to hear a real cute couple? I got 2 cute couples. I got Bran Stark with Mira Reed.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's cute.
They built trust.
Oh, and come on, like, that's a good connection. They've gone. Talk about a vacation.
Yeah.
Talk about 2 people going.
We're talking about Brienne and Tormund going down the road to test a relationship. Jeez, Mira Reed
talk
and
about
Bran Stark
adventure.
That's bonded. You can get through anything.
They went on a little vacation. And a plane crashed somewhere, and they went
talk
to
about
Survivor episode.
They can talk about cleaning the apartment issues. As coming together. Oh, you didn't wash the dishes. Oh yeah, remember that time? We
survived.
The others storming us, and you
by
pulled me
White
for a sled.
Yeah.
I think they can get through most stuff.
We'll deal with the dishes.
Yeah.
No, that's a cute couple. And then what about him and Lyanna Mormont? That's another cute one that's just sort of out of left field.
Bran and Lyanna. Because Bran's pretty young. He's
the houses together.
Like 12.
2
even
kids.
Though the actor's growth spurt.
Two leaders.
Yeah. Even though the growth spurt, they're still only a
I still know, but Mira's top choice. I love Lyanna though. I was the one bad thing about the episode yesterday is that Lyanna Mormont didn't get any lines.
But her face, the one scene, her face is the best. She was
badass.
She was so bad. She was there on the horse right behind me, like fuck you. Her face said it. She didn't see.
He was like when you and the traitor houses, and Lyanna Mormont was like,
"Oh man,
what'd you call me?"
I love it. That was.
What you talking? Yeah, no, dude. Yeah,
you just realize how tough these moments are. Jeez.
I hope she becomes a bit of a character, because we've lost quite a few this season. So typically that means other people are going to pop up and become, a little bit more pronounced. I really hope somehow Lyanna Mormont gets involved. She becomes like a kid. Maybe she becomes part of the small council in Winterfell of the North.
Oh, she's going to be involved.
Something.
Yeah.
I just hope she's
very much. No, she's earned her trust. She was there when it was needed. She was She has earned. Moments are back now.
And watch it be like whatever from the original troops, 300 survived, and there are 62 Mormonts.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
The bears did not fall in battle.
No.
It's like, damn, all right, we're gonna keep these guys around.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right, so
we're done with that quick Game of Theory. Now, put me on the spot.
Oh, you want to do still on the spot?
Put me on the spot. Or I can put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot.
Who's put who on the spot? Real quick on the spot. Where do you see the Hound going? What's the Hound's deal?
Well, it seems like the Hound's heading north. Yeah, he's going with Brotherhood Without Banners.
Why?
They were to fight the others. That's the great battle.
So where do you see him? You see him ultimately in Winterfell or at the Wall?
I could see them going to Winterfell. The Brotherhood Without Banners did respect the Starks greatly. I mean, the Hound respect the Starks. He said that many times.
So this is cute.
Right?
Here, take this. What if we get a little? Do you think we'll get a Sansa, Arya, Hound reunion?
What I think could be more. What I could see. What if Sansa and Littlefinger's being all creepy to Sansa, and then Hound comes up and's like,
"What the fuck?"
In the face. And when she sees that, she's gonna be like, and Littlefinger shits his pants.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
he puts an axe to his little finger.
Oh yeah.
Remember how he did that guy on the Band of Brothers?
Yeah.
Anyway,
can you put in the image of a Top Gun high five when it goes forward and then downwards?
Oh yeah,
the volleyball high five.
We could probably work that out.
We could probably work that out. Yeah, right.
But
at least an image of Top Gun right there.
Yeah. That would be so. Yeah, that's basically what I'm getting at. Yeah. That's I was almost hoping you'd say.
I think they're going to stop up at Winterfell, knowing that the Starks are there. The Brother Out Banners has always been like more a righteous thing. I think they have a line to start. They went out because of Ned Stark's order.
Beric Dondarrion worked under Ned Stark, right?
Yeah. They went out because of Ned Stark's order to hunt down not Sandor, Gregor Clegane.
The mountain. Yeah,
way back when. So if they're heading north, it seems to make sense that they might just check in at Winterfell, especially if they see the Stark banners flying. If it's the Bolton banners flying, they're not going to. But now the Starks are back, it's going to open up a lot more guests will be stopping by.
Yeah,
it's kind of like if Bolton flags, you don't have people stopping in for tea.
No.
With the Stark banner, be like, hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I might stop in.
Yeah.
And so that leads to various other topics which we might talk about in the preview, like Arya returning. And all
let's save that for our preview episode.
But so put me on the spot real quick.
Put me on the spot. Oh, jeez. I was putting on the spot.
Don't worry, I'll cut it.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think of these chances of? And I've read this one in the theory, but what do you think of these chances of that when Bran Stark got marked by one of the head others, that it meant that they could follow him wherever he goes? Do you think that could have mean if he goes through the wall, the others can go through the wall now somehow? That the magic is.
Wow, maybe we should put this for Game of Theory. Yes, I read this.
And that means that Bran would just. If he somehow learns this, because maybe Benjamin Stark supplies this information, like he has to stay north of the wall and just be like, you can't go. Because...
And I'll say there's a half glass full mentality on this and a half glass empty mentality. The half glass full thought would be that that's how he got to the tree of life, or whatever it is that it's called. That's how they got to the old three-eyed raven. And
what do you mean that's how they got to? What do you mean?
Well, that maybe it's not like a permanent thing, but like because he grabbed him at that moment, that's what suddenly they knew where the three-eyed raven was.
But they said they could go through it now. The magic, the border that they couldn't portray.
That's what I'm saying.
Is gone. Right.
Well, yeah, and so perhaps it served just to do that, right? But
which is possible.
Could be. In the half glass empty,
it was magic that protected the tree, and it's magic that built the wall.
Exactly, and that's the half glass. The half glass empty mentality would be that gives him a kind of permanent access to wherever Bran can go, essentially, or that it kind of it implies a certain destiny for Bran, but I mean whatever happens, we know for fact, because Benjamin Stark told him that his kind of destiny was to be welcoming the Night King at the I don't know if it was made clear if it was at the wall or if it was beyond the wall or whatever it was, but we know he's going to be in that first line to some whatever that means, and hopefully that means more in a Gandalf way than in a just like he's standing there against all the White Walkers. Yeah, but definitely it's a big question mark.
Good question. We don't know.
I don't know. I'm perhaps a little bit too unstable to. Am I a half glass full or a half glass empty guy? It depends on the day.
My guy thinks that the others can just go into the tree or can actually protrude the wall. I don't know. Depends on my mood.
No, and it really is. Like, was it a kind of one-off type of thing, or is it a full-time thing? Yes. That's my answer. No, and maybe so. Maybe they've got to get across that wall. I don't think it's going to end at the wall. We've been hearing about winter is coming for how many seasons now?
Quite some time.
Winter is coming, and with that, I think catastrophe and devastation is coming, and I really think that it's going to take dragons and fire. We're talking about a tale of ice and fire here, gentlemen, ladies.
Right.
So yeah, I would say that they probably will break through the wall, and that's a pretty good narrative device to get them through it, right?
Yeah, certainly.
Killed the magic.
Certainly.
Well, so.
Yeah, I think that wraps up this episode. It was a great recap.
What are we gonna say? Yeah,
we're gonna say tune in to next week.
That's it.
One more, and then we have a lot to discuss, and then we'll have to have some special break-up episodes to talk about moving forward, because this season, I can't believe it, is just about to end. So we'll talk about next week. That's gonna be the main topic.
That's right. And fear not, we're gonna run episodes on on prophecies, and we're gonna run episodes on lore and on theories. In the meanwhile, and we may shift over to some other
there'll be things
areas.
to satisfy your appetite during the drought.
For Star Wars fans, we've talked about talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Subscribe to our channel, and you'll get plugged into it. So that's the best way to do it if you want to.
That's absolutely
this
right.
little thing here. Just subscribe to Mimar Fingers Productions, and then you'll get it.
That's the thing.
And
guys, happy days. We finally got some redemption out of Game of Thrones. We finally had an episode, a good, most of the people we wanted to survived, and they didn't take too much away from us. For maybe the first time ever. So let's just be okay with that for now.
That's it. All right, signing off.
Ladies and gentlemen, Thrones Talk. We're out.